Hey, good morning, MSM. My name's LeeAnn Miller, and every now and then I'm going to get a chance to share with you. This morning, we're in a series talking about road signs, and I'm going to share with you that whatever we give our attention to, that's the direction we'll go. Let me say that again. Whatever we give our attention to, that's the direction we'll go or the direction we'll move. You know, I have a great story of when I was in high school. I was a freshman in high school getting ready to go into my sophomore year. It was the summer between my freshman year and my sophomore year of high school. And I was accepted into a small all-girls preparatory academy for kind of artsy girls who like to write and who like to paint and to do art. And it was just kind of a neat deal to get accepted into the school. Well, my parents had lined up for me to ride to school with this girl every morning and every afternoon so that they wouldn't have to take me and pick me up at school. And her name was Stevie Sloop. Stevie Sloop was kind of wild, and she seemed like really cool. She had a cool black car, and she always drove barefooted, and she smoked Marlboro Light cigarettes, and she had this real cool poster in her back window that said Queen on it. And my parents thought, and I thought, that I would be a really good influence on Stevie Sloop. Well, what started happening as I spent more and more time with Stevie, and I started giving her more and more of my attention, instead of me being a good influence on her, she started being an influence on me. And before I knew it, I started to like Queen, you know, Freddie Mercury. You know the song, "We are the champions, my friend." And then, it wasn't long before Stevie introduced me to my first cigarette. And then it wasn't long after that Stevie introduced me to my first party where there was drinking and there was smoking and there was things that really people shouldn't be doing at the age we were, or at any age for that matter. And you know, I started down a path that just wasn't real good and started hanging out with people that weren't a positive influence in my life. And the good part of the story is that I had 3 girlfriends, Laura, Linda, and Gina, who I'm still friends with today. I'm 41 years old and we still text message each other back and forth. And these girls were just a really good influence in my life. They kept calling me, they kept inviting me to their slumber parties, they kept being a good influence in my life. And they started to actually determine the direction that I was going and really kept me from making just worse decisions than I was already making. And you know, it's easy to fall into the trap and to really believe the lie that it won't happen to us, that we'll be different, that we'll be a good influence instead of somebody being a bad influence on us, that we'll be a good influence on them instead. And let's take a look at what God has to say about that. In Proverbs 4:25 through 27, the Bible says, "Let your eyes look straight ahead. Fix your gaze directly before you. Make level paths for your feet, and take only ways that are firm. Do not swerve to the right or to the left, and keep your foot from evil." You know, God will never put you in a situation where He leads you into sin. He only really wants to lead you far from it. So, it's so important in your life to have great influences and to be a good influence. Now for you, this might look different. It might be a girl on your volleyball team that maybe a couple of you need to just encourage and be a positive influence in her life. It may be somebody on your school bus who maybe uses bad language and comes from a really tough home life that you really just need to speak encouragement into their life. Or maybe for you, your parents are divorced and you see one of your parents making some really poor choices. And you can allow God to use you to speak the right influence and a good influence into your parents' life. You know, for us, for all of us, being the right influence is so important. Making the wise choices are so important. And focusing on what is right is a way to do that, to keep your attention in the direction it should be going, and that's closer to Jesus. You guys have a great time discussing in your small groups. And until next time, be that good influence.